Welcome to Gracious George podcast. My new podcast features the topics of spirituality, divine love, blessing, and how divine providence lead us to where we need to be in life. As a Mauritian, being raised on a small island in the Indian Ocean east of Africa called Mauritius, I grew up in cultural diversity. I have African, European, and Indian descent, and I speak Mauritian Creole, French, English, Bhojpuri, and Hindi fluently. Initially, on the path to priesthood, my life took a turn. As I followed my heart, I learned the love that was meant for me by walking with Jesus. My experience toward divine love has been an incredible journey, and I've written a book about how my life evolved when I turned to a greater love in life. It is called The Jesuit Who Changed Path, and it will be available very soon. You can follow along by finding me on my Facebook page at George's forthcoming book. In this podcast, I'm sharing my experience with you, and I welcome your conversation and interaction on this subject. Today, November 4th, 2021, I want to share with you my reflection on the festival of Divali, the festival of light that Hindus community are celebrating all over the world. I'm wondering if this celebration of life, this celebration of light, and the outburst of joy that it brings could boost our spirit in this pandemic time. The festivals of a country often reflect the heritage of an entire civilization. Old for a millennia, they become legendary over time. Wealth, antiquity, symbolism, mysticism pervade all the traditional Hindu festivals. The Divali Festival is undoubtedly the brightest and most beautiful of Hindu festivals celebrated in the world. Diwali is one of the oldest festivals of Hinduism. It is a celebration of the victory of light over darkness. The origin of the festival dates to the Satyug time. In Hinduism, the predominance of light over darkness also means that of knowledge over ignorance. The popularity of Diwali may be explained by the fact that it is closely associated with the material happiness of man. Diwali is a feast of the harvest. It is celebrated in the night of Amavasya, new moon, of Kartik, lunar months, October, November, and Hindus pray to Lakshmi, one of the 100 names given to God. Majestic and grandiose, Diwali embodies Lakshmi, goddess of prosperity and light. Lakshmi is also personified as the goddess, wife of Vishnu, dispenser of the world and fortune. The worship of Lakshmi on the day of Diwali gives her the form of an intercessor. She is asked to come to the aid of mankind and to assure them of material abundance. The light of Diwali conveys joy after a successful harvest and faith in prosperity. Indeed, the Diwali party is celebrated with pomp and joy. Several days before Diwali, all means are deployed to welcome Lakshmi. Temples, houses, and courtyards are cleaned with great care. The interior of houses is decorated with lamps to accommodate the goddess Lakshmi. The etymology of Diwali comes from the Sanskrit word Dipavali, which means a row of lamps. Festival of light, thousands of lamps are lit in the night of Diwali. Diyas, small earth lamps, are prepared with oil and wicks. All electrical installations are made to accommodate Lakshmi in a flood of light. The people turn on the lamps, pray, sing, and dance. Children burst firecrackers and fireworks. Delicious cakes are prepared, especially sweet potato cakes, which are offered to neighbors and loved ones. The sharing of cakes is a must. This sharing of cakes symbolizes the solidarity of the human race that was created in the image of God. Personal grudges and misunderstandings are forgotten. There are religious ceremonies, musical evenings, and people wander the streets until very late. Everyone wears a new garment according to their means. On the other hand, in North India, Diwali is also associated with the triumphant return of the king of Ayodhya, Ram, after 14 years he spent in exile in the forest. And after his victory over Ravan from the kingdom of Lanka. When he returned to Ayodhya, the kingdom was flooded with light to welcome him. Thus, Diwali has become more and more the feast of the victory of light over darkness, the victory of good over evil. It should be noted, however, that Diwali was celebrated before Ram's triumph. For being the feast of the harvest, it was already practiced in the form of an offering of the first fruits of the harvest to the fire. I've been happy to see the outbursts of joy on social media. Friends and families is spread all over the world wishing each other happy Diwali. Needless to say that Hindu families all over the world will be celebrating this Diwali night with immense joy, especially in this time of the pandemic, when we think of families who have lost loved ones, of the sick, of those who have suffered alone, or who have lost their jobs. It has been a stressful time, and many have been depressed, discouraged, and losing hope. Diwali, with its outbursts of joy, might boost up the spirit of many and give them new hope. Recently, I was watching the movie Ephraim's Rescue. It is about the struggle of a group of European settlers walking all the way from New York to the West, pulling their belongings on carts without horses. How they had to face all types of hardships, tiredness, disease, hunger, rain, and snow. At what point their spirit was at its lowest, and they were on the point to give up. It was at that moment, that one night, a young boy gifted in tap dancing climbed on a cart and he started to dance. And the people, one after the other, he stood up, gathered round the cart, and he started to clap to the rhythm. Suddenly, they were oblivious of their suffering and were lost in the magic of the dance. The next day, they took to the road with a lifted heart and walked to their destination. Years later, when they looked back on their journey, they said that that night of tap dance was a life changer, and their lives took a new turn. May this night of Diwali, this celebration of Diwali, the joy of this festival be a life changer to many around the world, and the light of God may destroy the darkness of evil. Dipavali Abhinandan, Happy Diwali. Please find my page, George's forthcoming book, on my Facebook. Like and follow the page so you can join in on the conversation. Until next time, stay safe and be blessed. Thank you for listening to me.